One representative issue, for example, one of the biggest typology that is growing in America is so-called mega church. So people actually want to pray and congregate more during the recession. And we looked at the history too. Actually, a lot of inventions has been made during the recession, such as jet engine, laser, email, actually internet, iPod. Sora's architectural and urban manifestos, it was often made during the downturn. As you can imagine, easy that when architects don't have enough work, they sit and think and write good books. When I joined OMA, it was 97. That was the time that Bilbao was made, and this architecture basically marked the relationship of economy and architecture quite blatantly. After this building, every municipality wanted to have Bilbao. So I kind of continue, I think OMA was affected also in some way, that we delivered a lot of formal, or let's say formally strong buildings, such as the extension of Whitney Museum that I ran. But after 9/11, basically the kind of whole world shifted, as you know. America lost its credibility to the world, so somehow what used to be Far East became Go East for everyone. Basically, everyone wants to go to China. The first project we did was a CCTV project. Luckily, we won the competition. It was in a huge site, 6 different departments, or 5. The client wanted to have a separate building, but we thought it was nice to unite and make a single loop. It's a fairly complex building, but there is a public path that you can pay and visit, going into the one tower, go up, look to the city, come down from the other tower, peek into the studios, and come back to the same point, to emphasize the shape as a loop. The construction was like a bridge. Basically, you built 2 towers inclined. And then we had to calculate the exact moment that the 2 towers are exposed to basically 2 towers get exposed to a different sunlight angle. So the expansion of the steel is different in both towers. So we had to calculate exact moment that the 2 expansion meets in a relatively close moment. So this was the moment. So this is a final piece that connects 2 towers. We struggled a little bit. And then finally it was attached. So after that, it's just building up. Structural system is fairly simple. We applied a homogeneous grid and calculated the forces. You can see where it's in red, it has a higher force. It's hard to see, but where it's in blue, it's in tension. So where it's in red, we added the members. Where it's in blue, we took out the structural member. So that made a pattern like this, seemingly random. But what it does is that it clearly expresses where the forces are on the building. Even Simpsons recognizes the pattern. I just show you current status. It's somehow merged. I mean, the construction has been going on for so long that people almost kind of don't care anymore about the building. Inside. When it was not operating at night, it became a kind of dark donut, canceling the entire kind of light of the city, which was also in a way beautiful. but now it is like this. Another Chinese project that I ran with that Go East thing is in Shenzhen, a city next to Hong Kong. It was designated as a special economic zone in '81. So this was '81. In 20 years, it became like this. In 20 years, it's even more now, but like this. China has two stock exchanges, one in Shanghai, one in Shenzhen. This is the one in Shenzhen. And the new headquarters was going to be built here in the new central civic area. When we started the project, nothing was there. It was a competition. The brief was such that the half was the rental office and the half was stock exchange program. So we simply organized in such a way that the rental office just remained a tower and stock exchange program became horizontal. But this ends up being very typical stock exchange typology. So we lifted up the podium and made a public plaza below. So effectively making two public area, one in the stock exchange area and ground. Which was also the decision was made also partially through the research. We found that the origin of the stock exchange was that under a really big tree in New York. So we thought it was nice to provide such an environment. So it's getting to be built. The completion is next year. Also, by lifting it up, we thought it was nice to show the stock information on the soffit, basically the ceiling, like this. There are two lobbies, one for the staff, one for the public. That has a huge atrium, and actually, it's you can see the sky. Current situation. Some interiors. We even developed a desk for the investment bankers. Basically, investment bankers tend to have a wall of computer screen in front of you, so you don't actually get to communicate to your neighbor or your co-workers. So we basically integrated the computer screen into the folded desk so that you always maintain a sight line even while you're looking at the screen. Like this. So as it was introduced, we have 4 offices: New York, Holland, Beijing, Hong Kong. What's increasingly changing is something that went beyond our imagination. For example, white shows the kind of high human development. So our projects, which is represented in star, of course tend to happen more or less in a high human development area, basically democratized countries. But nowadays, this is showing red is non-democratic countries and blue is electoral democracy. So you're of course in blue. But you can see the growth rate of red. So regimes in the world are completely changing, that the basically non-democracy countries have higher growth rate. Again, another representation of that fact. So we are increasingly working in an environment that is completely different in a political system from ours. So that's one thing that students maybe should have in your mind for the future. Within one of the typical issue of nowadays is a big commercial development that's so-called mixed use.